Hey guys, welcome to the Learn Feng Shui podcast, where you'll learn Feng Shui from a classical point of view, taking out the myth and superstition. So if you're interested in learning Feng Shui, Chinese astrology, all things Chinese metaphysics, as well as the superstitions and myths that connect it all, you'll enjoy learning Feng Shui with me. Hey guys, welcome to the Learn Feng Shui podcast, where we delve into the wisdom of ancient practices to create harmony in our lives today. I'm Candice Berlinga, certified Feng Shui practitioner and Red Ribbon professional with the International Feng Shui Guild. Today's episode, we are going to be exploring the energy of October through the monthly energy update, and this does come from the newsletter on the website at learnfengshui.com. I have a companion guide up there. We usually focus on what are called the Jie or solar cycles. We do experience how they can influence and impact our health and well-being. I always share tips to help you stay healthy during the transition seasons. I also like to share insights of how the energies of the zodiac signs are impacted for each month. This can also affect our daily lives and decision making. So, these forecasts do help to kind of navigate that energy. Of course, I cover practical feng shui tips that help you align your space with the month's energies. This helps ensure that your homes can support your intentions as we transition into this more yin or calm and quiet half of the year. So, get comfortable. Maybe you grab a cozy blanket or something, and let's discover how these insights and practices can help you navigate the month of October with balance and clarity. All right, guys, well, getting into the solar cycles. So, you may be asking why the solar cycles, which are called Jie cycles, they are a 15-day solar period that reflects a shift in seasonal energy. So, each cycle offers insight in how we can align our health and environment with these natural rhythms. And it does help us make informed choices for nourishment and feng shui adjustments. So, that is also moving our body and seeing what we can do to stay healthy during these seasonal transitions. The first solar cycle or micro season within the month, and this does start off the month of the wood dog, is October 7th, and that goes through the 22nd, and that is called cold dew. This is a time when the weather starts to cool down a lot more. We'll notice the dew on the plants becoming colder and almost icy, like it can burn the plant, like a freezer burn. It does mark the transition of autumn's deeper, colder phase, and people do begin to prepare more for upcoming winter. We really start to feel it, especially in the mornings, of course. And we'll talk about those weather trends too. Focus on nourishing the lungs as we do adjust to the cooler weather. Remember, the element associated with the lungs and large intestine is metal. And during this period, the dry and cold air can easily affect the lungs, making respiratory issues like coughing and dryness more common. So, protecting the lungs is definitely a priority. We do see respiratory illness this time of year. Eating foods and herbs to nourish the lungs. Pears. I was surprised at this one. Pears and moisten and cool the lungs. And it's supposed to help for dry coughs. Soups and teas to help nourish lungs and skin by moisturizing them. Radishes, they do help to clear phlegm and promote lung health. Honey does help to moisten the lungs and soothe the throat. And things like ginseng are supposed to help, as well as sesame seeds. Soups with seasonal ingredients that like carrots, radishes, pork is supposed to be a good one for this time of year. And it does say it moistens and nourishes the body without being overly heavy. And of course, drinking a lot of water during this time is supposed to be good. Breathing exercises are really good. It does help engage those that respiratory, focusing on the lung health, particularly deep breathing, and especially breathing outdoors in the morning hours is supposed to be particularly helpful. Taking a nature walk, take advantage of that nice autumn air. So I really enjoyed it this past Sunday. I went for a nice little nature walk with my sister and my nephew and niece and my doggie. And that was so nice. It was so cool in the morning. And we're out of that like excessive heat in the mornings, at least. In the afternoons, we're still getting it. So get out before it gets too cold. Ginger and honey, you're supposed to help warm the body also. And rest and relaxation as we move into a more yin time of year where the days are a little bit shorter. And of course, here in the US, we do that time change we're going to want to go to bed a little bit earlier, which is totally perfect for this time of year. Yeah, we really do need to be following nature and honestly kind of using like the amount of daylight and nighttime we get in kind of correlation to those patterns also with our circadian rhythm. The next 15-day cycle of energy, it starts October 22nd and it goes through November 6th, and it is called frosting. So, frosting is when frost starts to form, especially in the northern areas. I think the northern part of the US will probably get a cold snap about this time of year, which is, I think, pretty usual, you know? Due to the weather trends that we're experiencing this year, you might experience that first snow pretty early in this part of the year, you know, in this part of this Jechi cycle. And so I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit earlier winter. The El Nino and La Nina weather we were experiencing this past year does indicate that the winters are going to be harsher for the northern part of the US while they're unseasonably warm for the southern part of the US. So, we'll see how that kind of plays out as the season goes on, right? This does signal the end of autumn and the approach of winter, which the solar calendar does put the beginning of winter and the beginning of the water months in November. So it is time for harvesting. And of course, in Chinese medicine, it's important to take care of your lungs and the kidneys as we transition to the winter season, kidneys being represented by the element of water. So, as the frost begins to descend, your body is starting to conserve energy for winter, and your kidneys can be a little more vulnerable. And so, it's an important time to preserve your kidney essence and keep your body warmer. So, warming foods, like we talked about earlier, but also adding things like root vegetables, walnuts, it does help strengthen the kidneys and lungs. So, it's good for warming and moistening both the intestines and the kidneys. Iron rich foods like beef and lamb are supposed to be good this time of year. Sweet potatoes and pumpkin are supposed to be really good. Ginger is a metal element, but it is known to warm your body and improve circulation. Herbal teas, of course, are highly recommended. More activities you can do are strengthening exercises. So, something that helps improve your circulation to make the energy or the chi move in your body, just kind of preparing the body for the cold weather. I know sometimes it's hard to get moving, but the really light exercises like yoga and Tai Chi or Qigong are really good ones that can help you keep your body moving without stressing it too much. It does help balance also that internal energy, keeping warm and layering up, especially when it's cold outside. Protecting your lower back and feet are supposed to be linked to the Chinese medicine with the meridian, I guess, in the kidneys. Soaking your feet also can help and prevent that cold stagnation and nourish your kidney energy. Hot baths or warm baths with Epsom salt and essential oils like lavender and eucalyptus also can help you relax and prepare for sleep. And of course, just following that trend of going to bed early, which I'm not even mad at. These jet chi cycles do reflect these changes in the environment, as mentioned earlier, and they correspond with these seasonal activities like adjusting your diet and lifestyle for health and balance. And again, that's why we discuss that here on the show. I know sometimes you may be like, I don't understand why you talk about this, but it's because we can use these energy trends to stay healthy. All right, now I'm diving into the newsletter, Month of Dog. So, the zodiac sign of dog does represent the energy that contrasts the yearly zodiac of the dragon. So, each year we do experience a month that is referred to as a year breaker or the Soi Po. That's your feng shui lesson for the day, your feng shui term, Soi Po, year breaker. This can actually be quite challenging. It is oftentimes filled with setbacks and obstacles, and life can present, of course, difficulties at this time. On a global scale, we may witness more natural events. We just saw this past week in Asheville, that part of North Carolina experienced extreme flooding, very strange weather phenomena they don't usually experience. I think we're going to continue to experience things like this. So, just witnessing more natural events like earthquakes, especially with two earth signs meeting, even though it's the month of the wood dog. The dog is the element of earth, and so is the dragon. And seeing these two earth signs meet, right? It earth energies colliding, volcanic eruptions and other seismic activities, you know, may occur. So really keep an eye out for that. These are things we can't control, but are just a part of the world. Northern parts of the US, again, as I talked about earlier, may experience that cold snap. According to the Old Farmer's Almanac, there is something called St. Luke's Little Summer that occurs in October, and this is a period of warm weather that occurs on or near St. Luke's feast day, usually around October 18th. I think we'll be experiencing warm and cold weather that's kind of interspersed. Looking at the energy and going back to experiencing setbacks and stuff like that, that energy is just kind of like that, encountering setbacks. Occasionally, we just got to take a different route or discover a new method to achieve your goal. Reassessing your path can help. If you find yourself facing a challenge, take a moment to reconsider your strategy. Are you pushing too forcefully in a direction that isn't yielding results? That's a good question to ask yourself. Seeking guidance can help. Reach out to others for advice, and to those who possess greater insight or experience, you might want to, find a mentor or somebody that's experienced what you're going through right now. Adapting, of course. So rather than attempting to eliminate the obstacle, sometimes we get stressed out and we just want to stop, but let's consider how we can navigate around it. And of course, on the website at learnfengshui.com, on the second page, I do give some energy tips for your home and office, as well as personal energy that include just things decluttering. Because, of course, when you have an organized energy in your space, you have an organized mindset, and just kind of helps with stagnation, overcoming mental barriers, breaking tasks into smaller steps to make things more manageable, and regularly scheduled breaks or just a few tips that I talk about in the newsletter. Too much to cover here, but you can definitely go to learnfengshui.com and check out that newsletter. Let's get into the zodiac forecast for the month and look at the zodiac signs that are most impacted by the energy of the dog. Looking at the zodiac signs for the month, you may be wondering how the energy impacts you. So, the energy does impact you depending on where it falls in your natal chart. So, remember, you actually have 4 zodiac signs, one for the year, one for the month, one for the day and hour you are born. And if you need to figure out what those zodiac signs are, you can go to the website and there is a calculator. You plug in your date of birth and it'll tell you 4 animal signs. If you don't know the hour you're born, there is an option to calculate without. A lot of people don't really know the hour they were born, and that's okay. It's just missing a little component to your chart. But if the zodiac sign noted falls in the year, this represents your friend group, your social circle, and community around you, and that's the area it will impact. The month does represent your career and parental relationships, and the day can represent your health, romantic relationships, and the way you truly see yourself, who you really are. It's kind of more of the way you feel about yourself. The hour does represent your thoughts, emotions, feelings, and your children, and also your subordinates if you are a boss, if you have a downline. But mostly impacting your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So this really does impact, whether you feel sad or whatnot, your inner feelings. Starting first with the zodiac sign governing the month, that is called the Grand Duke or the Tai Soi. And we do look at what are called the Shinsha or the symbolic stars for the year to see where you can focus your attention. As mentioned earlier, some self doubt, a little bit of obstacles in your way, but focusing on the mental health and self help can really help you out this month. Staying away from negativity. You do, though, however, have a star called National Treasure, and this does come in the form of recognition or being in the public view. So you could take yourself in the public view and be recognized for your achievements this month if that's something you've been working on. The energy only works with your actions. So, you won't be famous for doing nothing, right? So, but you can get some recognition at work if that's something you've been working on or working towards. Make sure what you are doing is visible so people can see it and you can actually get that recognition. The year breaker, so expect the unexpected, and self awareness is going to be key this month. The greater consumer is one that can affect your finances, but planning for large purchases can help you. It's like you put the energy towards what you wanted to go to instead of it just happening. So this is a time where, maybe your car could break or your appliance can break down and you have to end up making a large purchase, maybe some sort of premiums are due this month. You got to pay something out that requires a chunk of money and just plan for that, and your money will find the right place to go. If you've been needing to replace something and you have the funds to do it, I'd suggest doing that this month too. Leopard tail is one that you need to watch out for offending others or coming across the wrong way. So being careful of what you say and avoiding controversial subjects or avoid, saying offending things. Again, just that self-awareness for the dog sign will go very far this month. The seasonal combination, monkey, rooster, and dog make up a combination. So if you have the rooster and monkey, you have the seasonal combination of autumn. This does give you the energy to help you make connections and network with others in your field and do collaborations. This can help you focus, organize, and structure work and put a business system into place. So, if that's something you would need to work on, then do that. Executive function is also a good thing to work on this month, which is just pretty much life skills, organizing stuff within your life. All right. So, that's good for the rooster and monkey this month. Sometimes you do show, like wealth potential, wealth opportunity. And that's always nice when you see that. Putting the work in. If you've been putting that work in, you'll see it. If you haven't been putting the work in, then where's the energy going? The three harmony or the fire frame. So the three harmony has energy to help with clarity, understanding, and inspiration this month. And that is made up of the sign of the tiger, the dog, and the horse. The tiger and the horse will combine this month with the dog. And this does give you the energy to lead and take charge. So you may feel more confident and assertive with this combination. Start new projects. The combination can help you transform your ideas into reality and take an action and initiative. The energy can also help you be more proactive and decisive. The combo or secret friend with the dog is the rabbit. So makes up the energy much like the three harmony. So action and focus is very similar. Some of the same things, leading with confidence, use the energy to command attention of others, pursue a passion project even. And maybe it's just a hobby, but focusing on something that inspires you can be really nice this month. And being social. So expanding your social or professional network this month is also recommended. The clashing sign for the month, or the opposing sign, of course, is the dragon. So the dragon does clash with the dog for earth shaking change. Remember, the combination could take precedence and take the clash away. So the dragon does combine with the rat and the monkey. So if you have one of those in your natal chart, you might not feel it as much. It's kind of difficult because usually we can use feng shui to take this energy away, but it's really not advisable this month due to the monthly flying stars. So this month, just kind of relying on the personal energy and actions, praying, meditation, making life changes like you quit smoking, maybe you move, maybe in a toxic relationship. These are things that can create that change for you. So it doesn't happen to you, right? So again, checking out the newsletter. You can look at how to navigate difficult times, energy, clarity, and stuff in our home on page 2 of the newsletter. Implement some of those changes and, you should be just fine. It happens for everybody. Everybody has a clashing month or a clashing year, clashing time. And again, it's a time when we can see change happening, but creating change can help with that too. Let's look at the feng shui and the flying stars for the month of October. All right, guys, feng shui for October. Starting first with flying star number 9. Spiritual and happiness star falls into Gua 8 in the northeast. The 9 star is a welcome energy this year. It does expand positive outcomes. Do be cautious. It does pair with the 6 metal star for the month. So the 6 and 9 combination is a little bit of a fire and metal clash. Good for working and expanding your network and general inspiration. But just be a little bit cautious. It's a formation called fire burning the heavenly heart. Gua 8 needs to be cautious of being too overbearing or controlling, especially with your children. Working in the sector and movement or a fan activation can help move that energy around this month. Flying star number 1, the authority star, does go to Gua 9 in the south. So the 1 star is good, but the yearly 7 star that's there makes the area okay. You can utilize the area to help with career progression and create movement when things feel a little bit stagnant. A Guan 9, just be cautious of inappropriate or overly flirtatious energy. Don't give somebody the wrong impression or feel the need to be nice if you are not interested. Remember, we don't want to be nice, just be real, okay? Enhanced by working in the sector, fan activation, or movement. Flying Star 4 does join the yearly Star 1, and this is a pretty good energy in the East. Gua 3 is probably one of my favorite sectors for the month. This can be good to use for academic pursuits, learning a new skill, or studying for tests. Also good to spend time in if your health needs a boost. It's a good energy there. Gua 3, you can pursue learning something new, or a romantic interest could be in store because the 1-4 energy kind of represents what's called the peach blossom. You can also activate the area to find romantic interest here. You can enhance it by working, studying, taking, or storing medicine in the area, and enhance with the short-term water activation. Flying Star number 6 does go to the center, and the center, remember, is not really a gua, but kind of sets a tone for the month. So even though we have this opposing energy and we're experiencing this year breaker for the month, we still have a collective energy of things working out, and at Star 6 does bring opportunity and support from others, kind of that tone for the month and enhancing that metal energy. Challenging sectors for the month. These are areas you can add a cure to. So your preferred cure item, you're definitely welcome to put there. Cures can include a saltwater jar or a charm with 6 coins or other various adjustments to the sector. Just avoid using these areas for work or other things if possible. Starting first with Gua number 1 in the north. Flying Star number 2 goes there. So Flying Star 2 does visit the north. It kind of has the potential to cause some health issues. If you think about the implication of dirt mixing in with water, kind of indicates like maybe a hidden issue, some hidden illness. So avoid sleeping in the sector. Or if your front door is here, you might want to place a cure. Gua 1, just take caution with your health this month. But honestly, with the 8 wealth star there, might not be as bad, but just try not to overuse this area. You can also place metal objects or salt jars or preferred items. Remember, when you're placing your items, you can definitely place and use those element cycle. Remember, we can kind of bridge the gap between water and the earth energy by placing some metal there. So remember, metal does create water, and metal degenerates earth, that earth energy. And so metal is a pretty common cure for the illness star. Even placing just metal weight plates underneath the area, like under your couch or something, if your living room's here, you could put a metal plate under your bed if you sleep in the area, and your cure is hidden, and you've bridged that element gap and cut some of that illness energy, the earth energy of the illness star. So you could try that out too. Flying Star 3, often called the quarrelsome or conflict star, does go to Guatu in the southwest. So Tippers can flare here, but the yearly 9 star may be able to help you keep it in check because the fire of that 9 star could burn off some of that wood energy. Just remember, if you're a Guatu, try to keep your anger in check and pick your battles. You can mitigate this by placing a salt cure here, or spending less time in the sector, or placing your preferred item here. I think one of the traditional cures for the 3 star, especially when it falls into the southwest, is a small flag. So you could put that there. Flying Star number 5, the disaster star, the redheaded stepchild of all the flying stars, does go to the southeast this month, and it joins that yearly 2 illness star that's there. With other negative energies, we have like a 5 tiger shaw, we have the 3 killings there, which are not generally activated, but avoid rearranging your furniture and too much noise in the area. The 5 star can cause illness as well as other general problems, things breaking around your house, just generally annoying things when it joins the 2 star, especially illness. Gua 4, do be careful of sicknesses, illness, and visit your doctor if you have symptoms. You can mitigate the energy by keeping the sector quiet, a salt cure, or preferred item. And again, usually it's a metal energy or a metal plate, some sort of metal that does help kind of cut that earth energy. But do remember, if you're putting metal in the southeast, you're also countering the wood that's there in that palace. But Maybe a salt jar would work a little bit better there. Flying star number 7 does fly to Gua 6 in the northwest. It's called the legal and dispute star. The 7 star does embody the essence of conflict, but it's usually centered around stubbornness, the desire to prove your viewpoint. And that's why it's called like a legal and dispute star, because usually it would be things like slander, right? And talking out of turn, not letting go of being petty, right? So Gua 6 can release the urge to defend your position aggressively. Remember, you can't compel others to change their opinions. And just mitigate it by having some self awareness. A little salt cure could help, but it generally shouldn't cause much of a problem. Remember to avoid renovations here, the earth shot areas. Okay. So again, southeast, we're going to want to avoid renovations because, of course, it has that 5 disaster star, as well as the this month that's going to be the month breaker. Can't dig there. So we're going to avoid digging in the southeast. Of course, the south and southwest does have the 3 killings. So digging in those areas are out. The west, of course, has the 5 yellow for the year. We're not going to dig there. And the year breaker, which and happens to be the monthly Grand Duke, is going to be in the northwest. So we avoid renovations and digging there. Remember that renovations can be done in some sectors using date and time selection specific to your home. So if you need time to dig, you need to do some renovations, things are happening at your home, definitely can pick days for that. The Southeast is one of the most negative areas, and I've had a couple clients that I've worked with a date selection, and things have been going just fine for them. Shoot me a message if you need a date and time selection for that. As we wrap up this month's exploration of October, remember that the energies for the month invite us to nourish our body and spirits while honoring these transitions into nature. And so, by aligning with these zodiac signs and applying these practical feng shui tips, you can create a harmonious environment that does support your well being during this season of change. So, we explore the significance of those Jed Chi cycles and emphasize the importance of nourishing our lungs and kidneys. So, don't forget to do that. Remember, incorporating those moistening, warming foods. We did also take a look at those zodiac signs for the month of October. Understanding these influences does allow us to kind of harness their power for better decision making. And lastly, those feng shui practical tips to help align your space for these October energies. Hopefully, we can create a harmonious environment and support your intention. Remember to check out the newsletter on the website at learnfengshui.com. I reworked my lucky dates page on the very last page, and instead of just throwing up a calendar, I actually broke it down into a very usable format. Broke it down into business and finance, education, personal growth, health, social relationships, and home and feng shui adjustments. And those can also be spiritual adjustments, keeping your own energy up, but even things practically like installing new equipment or adopting a pet. There's days for that too. Did you know that? A lot of my stuff does include business and finance. So lots of information for you to take in. But all right. And I'll catch you guys next week for Feng Shui for Halloween.